Folks, this is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. And I am once again simulcasting on Utizzle and Bumble. And I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Sorry I'm a little late. Any newbies coming in, you might want to check out that meme on the screen. And we always get into a little bit of history. So, yeah, we'll be doing that again tonight. So while we're waiting for people to come in, I'm going to play some videos to make sure I got a good, strong signal, and then we'll get down to business.
That it is Barack Obama who corrupts the Justice Department. It is Hillary Clinton who routinely breaks the law and gets away with it. And now we have Joe Biden who's learned. He's learned from Obama that doesn't matter what you do. If you're a liberal Democrat, you will not be prosecuted. He learned from Hillary that a person in high public office can get millions and millions of dollars. And they learned from watching Donald Trump that a true outsider willing to take on the entire system could destroy their entire machine. So what you're seeing across the country is a desperate last-ditch effort by a corrupt machine to destroy their most dangerous opponent in a way which not only breaks the Constitution, destroys the rule of law, and establishes a moment of bitterness, which I think will last for a generation or more. I think this is going to be a horrendous period, and we just need to understand the people who want to control America and dictate to the rest of us will break any law, lie about any topic, and manipulate the system any way they can, and that includes a lot of the elite news media.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy. Stronger and better than ever before. They're mostly gone. They're all coming back. This is why people in countries want to kill me. They're not happy with me. It's a risky business. This is why they want to kill me. They only kill consequential presidents, remember that. But this is why, if you're one of the countries that's affected, you're not happy with what I'm saying. When they used to say they like Barack Hussein Obama, of course they do, because he did nothing to help us. When they like Biden, who doesn't know he's alive, of course they like him, because he does nothing to bring your businesses back. He lets the world rob our country, the robber barons. He lets them rob and steal from our country, and most importantly, he lets them take our jobs. That's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something...
Donald, you must move your head.
Shenzo, you died, and I'd never got the chance to say goodbye.
Donald, I don't say goodbye. You need to remember your training. Move your head. I cannot explain. I must go.
Wait, Shenzo, if I never see you again, then see you later, Space Cowboy.
But you will see me again, because there is one last thing that I must do.
Months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take Thank you, Kimza.
I'll guard the roads, and I'll guard the skies.
storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
I think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he perceives as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thanks for joining me tonight. Yeah, I got a little problems with my screens kicking in. I don't know. I hope we got a good, stable broadcast. We shall see. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Sissy. Hi, Colette. How are you? Doc, nice to see you. Let's see. Debbie Wayne's in here. Give me a thumbs up. Flannel cheese. Robin, Mike, Todd's. Let's see, Sissy's here. Marie, nice to see you, Marie. David, Kathy, KNS Cleanup. Haha. Amy, how are you? AMMY, did I say the name right? It is nice to see you. I'm looking for William. And I want to thank Cosette and Miss Mendersue for going by buy me a coffee. And also, Gary came in with a big boom for Mountain Man. So anyway, I appreciate that very much. As we go into this week, you notice I have on my screen, after this video is removed, we have the Titanic. And I said at the beginning of the broadcast, in case there's new people coming in, sometimes they watch, they ghost, they don't say nothing. And if they want to join the chats, please be respectable and don't run them off. Let's have a conversation if they ever do. But I put this up for a reason. We had times in our past where our leaders were somehow captured, either controlled by threats or bribes, or they were part of the big club that we're not in for whatever reason. And we suffered greatly because of it. Now they've come head to head with a force that they don't know how to reckon with. It's a strong leader combined with the military, combined with the will of the people, and we're dropping the hammer on them. Game on. Things are changing. Oh, the stock market is having a spastic session, losing money, losing points, but it can be all gained back, and very quickly. So, the naysayers will learn a lesson, and I think they will very soon. Very soon. So, we had a judge removed. A judge removed. Did you all hear about this? Remember I told you the story about, hi, Tuco, how you doing? Bill, how you doing? Kathy, you fell asleep? Well, I'm just starting, baby doll. Ha, ha, ha. So worry not. Colette's here. Let's see, Bill's here. Make sure I got everybody. Tuco's here. All right. Yeah, we had a judge removed. Remember I told you the judge, so-called judge, cited the Border Patrol agent who arrested some character for being in the country illegally, and the judge holds ICE agent in contempt after he just detained suspect during trial. I said, what is he going to do? The ICE agent wasn't even there to be held in contempt. You know, what's he going to do? Put him in jail? Try to put him in jail? Well, it turns out he was a municipal judge. He wasn't even a federal judge. He's a state level municipal judge. And he got his nose twisted. Okay. I've got the letters that came from the U.S. Attorney's Office. Tell him, you're off the case, buddy. Let me see. And I'll go over them. And also, the same U.S. Attorney writing a letter to the prosecutor involved, letting him know you better tread lightly, because interference with federal agents will not be tolerated. Hi, Quilt. How you doing? Sherry, nice to see you. Pappy Two Bears. Haha, good to see you. Nice to see you. No, it was in not North Carolina. Hello, Mr. Kibler. It wasn't North Carolina, it was Boston, Massachusetts. You know, they're letting them run loose and run wild up there anyway. And then they got that hospital up there where they're taking a scalpel to kids and cutting their private areas apart and pumping them full of hormonios. Yeah, that judge. One who's letting all, and then gets all upset because an illegal didn't have its traffic ticket heard. If you all think about it, give me a thumbs up. It helps the video get around. Ha ha. But anyway, so let me go over that story. But let me find it here. Here is a picture. Oh, that girl that slapped that and made that, or injured that young lady that was interviewing outside of abortion thing. They found out who she was. I'll get to that too. I look for her to be arrested. But anyway, this is from the Boston Herald. Full text. Top federal prosecutor in Massachusetts. Massachusetts rips into DA judge over ICE agent. Yeah. Here we go. What's this say? The state's top federal prosecutor is threatening the city's DA with felony charges if he goes after an ICE agent for grabbing an illegal immigrant mid-trial. He was actually going outside, I said, for probably a smoke break. And the agent knew he was in there. And he didn't know whether the trial was still on or over with, whatever. He's got a job to do. So he arrested him. He didn't know they were taking a recess. But anyway, she also has harsh words for the Boston judge in the case. U.S. Attorney Leah Foley, appointed by President Donald Trump to head up the federal courts in Massachusetts, said Wednesday that taking action against an immigration officer is, quote, unlawful and erroneous, unquote, and in violation of the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution. Oh, think about it. This going around, and then Alina Habba was appointed the top U.S. attorney in Jersey, right? So we're getting all these judges up north. What's her name? Leah Foley. This is her picture. Now let's start off with the letter to the judge. It's a little blurry, but I'm going to read it. Hi, Yvonne. Nice to see you. It's a little blurry, but this is his notice with accompanying paperwork that we filed to have you taken off. His name's Honorable Mark Somerville. I know it's blurry, but attached are copies of a notice of removal, motion to vacate, and supporting memorandum filed in the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts in the above captioned manner. It is well settled that the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution immunizes federal officers from state prosecution, including contempt proceedings for actions taken in the course of their official duties. While you might disagree with the enforcement of our federal immigration laws, there is simply no legal basis for you to hold federal officers in criminal contempt for carrying out their sworn duties. Sworn duties, the oath to what? The Constitution. Any attempt or threat to interfere with with the lawful functions of federal government agents will not be tolerated. This is to the judge. The judge is being told interference won't be tolerated. Please be advised that this court lacks any authority whatsoever to proceed in this matter with respect to United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement Officer Brian Sullivan or any other federal officer relating to the lawful federal arrest of an illegal alien. Sincerely, Linda Fogel. Boy, yeah. Oh, man, she's doing a good job as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, these judges are so prideful. So prideful. Somebody put on Twitter using the term expansive. They're expansive. I believe they're referring to the egos of these judges. Boy, you talk about popping that expansive ego. So then, or simultaneously, she wrote a letter to this prosecutor. Because he got up in court and said, we didn't know what was going on, blah, 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 and we condemn it, or what, we covering his butt. So here it is. Leah Foley, Kevin Hayden, District Attorney, Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. Attached are copies of the notice of removal, not a request, a notice of removal. The motion to vacate, they're taking the case over. Anything to do with this character and supporting memorandum filed in the United States District Court for Massachusetts in the above captioned matter. In light of the removal to federal court, please be advised that your office lacks any authority whatsoever to proceed in a state court with respect to United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement Officer Brian Sullivan's March 27, 2025 lawful arrest of Juan Carlos Baez and his also known as, a.k.a. Wilson Martel LeBron. Where'd he come up with that from? Your office must cease from entertaining or pursuing any charges. In other words, get it out of your head. Don't even entertain it. Against Officer Sullivan or any other federal officer relating to the arrest of Baez. As you know, Baez was in this country illegally and had prior arrests for serious drug trafficking offenses and was arrested pursuant to a valid federal warrant. In your press conference today, I listened to that. He was all mealy-mouthed. You indicated that your office is considering whether to seek criminal contempt charges against federal officers for arresting Baez. Well, you know, he's got elected position. He's trying to keep all the cuckoo liberals happy up there. That is for doing their job. The fact that you disfavor ICE officers doing their jobs is not a basis for criminal charges. In fact, there is no legal basis for such charges. You may very well disagree with the enforcement of our immigration laws, but it is appropriate to suggest to the public, but it is inappropriate to suggest to the public that federal officers can be criminally prosecuted by your office or any other state or local prosecutor's office for performing their official duties. I like that sentence because I've been talking about it for ages. People using their office or their raised respectability or what have you, credibility, by having a law degree, going on YouTube and knowingly babbling about stuff and misleading the public. Inappropriate to suggest to the public that federal officers can be criminally prosecuted by your office. It's misleading. Any attempt to threat to interfere with the lawful actions of federal government agents will not be tolerated. Same thing she said to the judge. Let them both know. Indeed, under Title 18, United States Code, Section, I guess it's 111A, it is a felony offense to assault, resist, oppose, impede, intimidate, or interfere with an immigration officer's efforts to duly execute the immigration laws of the United States. You got that, Occasional Cortex? Read that letter, Occasional Cortex. A felony. So there's one last, I just love this letter. I love it. I know it pukes them out. I know Judge said, let me read your letter. They sent me a letter too. Oh, well, yeah, Your Honor. Can I read your letter? Yeah, look what it wrote to me. Both of you get the message. Trump's not playing. And he found a good young lady there to smack him around a little bit too. Rather than attacking the laws, rather than attacking the brave men and women enforcing the laws of the United States, I urge you to work with us to identify, prosecute, and remove the criminals who break them. We owe it to our communities to work collaboratively to ensure the safety of all. Leah Foley. Yeah, I like the whole situation, don't you? I do. Thank you, Leah, for straightening out those screwballs. So that is that and another bellwether court case. We had two court cases. I'll call them bellwether. Miss Mindersue's here. Thank you, Miss Mindersue, for going by buy me a coffee. I appreciate it. Ha-ha, glad to see you. Hi, Angel. Nice to see you also. Awaken Trillium. Hello, Awaken Trillium. So, what's the other bellwethers from court cases? Let me see. The Supreme Court. And I heard that John Roberts was putting the heat on Amy Coney Barrett to join him in denying Trump his ability to have training cuts over DEI and to dismiss people in the federal government, right? Supreme Court backs Trump on teacher training cuts over DEI. It was a 5-4 decision. According to my understanding, if Amy would have given in to John Roberts, it would have been 5-4 against Trump. But she stood her ground. So we've got idiots in the Supreme Court. I'm looking at them. I guess it's Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, Ketanji Brown. That's 3. And who's that? Not Alito, no. Roberts. Yeah, that's 4. Those 4. The 2 on the ends of the first row, and Ketanji Brown Jackson's the short one in the back there that was in a musical, and John Roberts in the center. So there you go. That we know right off the bat who's got to go. The Supreme Court allowed President Donald Trump's administration to proceed. I didn't copy the whole thing. I got another report on it somewhere in here. Let's the other one. That's a bellwether. Has to do with North Carolina Appeals Court. Supreme Court, I'm sorry. And the way it was put in Goggle news alerts, it just said North Carolina judges. They don't say North Carolina Supreme Court. No, it was appellate court because it was a three panel, and it was 2 to 1 decision. North Carolina Supreme Court race in turmoil. Doesn't sound like turmoil to me, because Democrats' 700 vote victory now in jeopardy as 65,000 voters ordered to prove eligibility or be removed from the count. So the one that has 700, supposedly the winning margin, is the liberal lady on the right. I don't know her name. And the conservative judge on the left is the one who is going to get this essentially a re-examination of these ballots. That's a big victory. That's a big victory. Remember that video I played where the lady said the attorney was trying to put her in a trick box and say, it doesn't say those votes are illegal. She said, no, the law says they're invalid. That's different from illegal. So, yeah. So there's 3 situations with the courts where the ship is turning. And the opinion that was written in the Supreme Court concerning Donald Trump is going to influence and have some controlling elements to some of these cases that are going on right now. The 100 and some cases these Marxist lawfare morons are playing. So it's going to make their jobs a lot more difficult. So that's all a good thing. And that plays into my thoughts about maybe this Anna Paluna, whatever her name is, and shutting down the House for a week when they're trying to make these pretty sweeping changes to the judiciary. Maybe it's just toning it down to where we can identify these bad judges and not change the whole system. Because it's always the same flipping ones. Here's maybe this article will explain it better about Trump. Just in, Supreme Court allows Trump administration to terminate teaching grants that violate DEI policy in a 5-4 vote. Roberts sides with liberal justices. So, now we know Roberts got to go. Roberts has got to go. One way or the other, as Trump says, with how he's going to get his agenda done, America's agenda. Yeah, Colette. Thank you for going to buy. Oh, Cosette went to buy me a coffee. I appreciate it. Let me see. Mr. T put this out. I'll just get to some of Mr. T's things he put out on Truth, since he is the man of the hour, the man of the century. He says here, these Houthis gathered for instructions on an attack. Oops, there will be no attack by these Houthis. They will never sink our ships again. You can't see it in this particular picture. I got the video. But they're standing there in a ring. Let me see. Let me pull that video up. Let me see. Yeah, there they are. They're waiting for instructions. Hello, la la blah blah. What do you want us to do, oh great leader, to strike at great Satan? We want to destroy Satan. Okay. Get your pen and pencil out, or pencil and paper out. Write down these instructions. Hold on. Let me get my. Yeah, that was no Radio Shack drone. That was, looks like a 500-pounder. And anybody that was standing in that group is finished. I think that's them. Huh. I don't know. Is that them? Let's see. Oh, yeah. They're taking a little nappy nap. Taking a little nappy nap. So, they're going to have a hard time communicating and passing on command and control, wouldn't you say? Have I got my mic on? Yeah. Okay. All right. So there is no attack by these particular Houthis. So, yeah, I don't know whether it was the Olympia or this Titanic or what it was, but those three men didn't make it. And they were against passing the 16th Amendment. And they were against the Federal Reserve and central banks. They were taken out. As a matter of fact, I got another one here. Let me put this one up. Here we go. Let me see. I got to center that up. Here we go. Woodrow Wilson sold America like a stock and gave control to the powers that be. J.P. Morgan, Rothschild, Schiff, Warburg, I can't read it, Rockefeller. You want real political change? Repeal the Federal Reserve Act, 1913. Well, I might as well get into it a little bit. You all, those of you who've been with me for a long time, know what I think of this individual. I could care less. I know he's got a lot of followers, but I said my opinion of him a long time ago. Even though he claims he's a reformed person, and even though he talks about the cabal, even though he talks about all the things we've known and talked about for years as an influencer, he's jumped on the, people were saying in chats, the MAGA side. He's trying to hide behind the MAGA side. I said he was a greaseball. I didn't like him. I'll never like him, but I won't hate him. I won't do anything to bring him down, except say I don't care for this individual. And I heard stories about him years ago. All right. And he was a brutal, demonic person with the same kind of so-called wit that a lot of these so-called comedians have now about people of faith. But now he's saved. Okay, fine, you're saved. But anyway, he's been around the block. He's been around the block, and nobody walks. Nobody walks. I never saw you interviewing anybody of note or being invited to Mar-a-Lago or anything. So he was a member of the Hollywood, British version of Hollywood celebrities, was into all the base behaviors. What was his name? The one that the one we've not. What's his last name? Not Cavill. Well, you all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he does look like Charlie Manson. Sherry don't like him either. That's right. So he can go wherever he's going. That's what I'm going to say about that, unless there's some other developments on it. So let's see. Here's the stock market. Dow drops 2,200 points. Friday, S&P 500 loses 10% in 2 days as Trump's tariffs rout deepen. Yeah, well, that's their own damn fault. It's called being skittish, not bullish. There's a movie that was made in the 1930s, and part of the movie shows it's a black and white, a guy with a top hat and a cane. And I believe it was the French stock market. And he was going, be brave, don't sell your stock, be brave. And then he said, I'll buy your stock, I have faith in the market. And he's grabbing handfuls of paper that was stock paper, paying pennies for it, everybody wanting out of the market. And it made him a multi-millionaire on top of what he was already multi-millionaire. And it was supposed to be a true story. And guess what the last name of the person was buying all that stock during a downturn in the market? Roths and then Child. It's a movie that was made in the 1930s. I'll have to find that movie and play that scene. So people are going to be grabbing up cheap stock because it's going to go back up. Only a fool would think it's not going to go back up. Here is somebody's opinion on why things are going the way they're going. I won't say I ascribe to this 100%. But what do you think what his opinion is?
Trump is crashing the stock market by 20% this month, but he's doing it on purpose. And this is why Warren Buffett just said Trump is making the best economic moves he's seen in over 50 years. Now, here's the secret game he's playing, and it could make you rich. So why is he doing this? To push cash into treasuries, which forces the Fed to slash interest rates in May, and those lower rates give the Fed the ability to refinance trillions of debt very inexpensively. It also weakens the dollar and drops mortgage rates. Now, it's a wild chess move, but it's working. Now, you're probably wondering, what about his tariffs? Well, I'll tell you, it's a genius play. It actually forces companies to build here to dodge them. It also forces farmers to sell more of their products here in the U.S. to bring grocery prices way down. We've already seen this with eggs. Now, remember, 94% of all stocks are owned only by 8% of Americans. So Trump, he's taking from the rich short term and handing it to the middle class through lower prices.
Yeah, remember when Trump said there's something going on with the Treasury bonds. We may not be in as much debt as people think. And you couple it, if part of this strategy that we're hearing about is true, the debt's going to go way, way down. Way down. So, the people that fold and throw their hand in, they're the ones that are going to be suffering the most. Nothing in life is constant upward trajectory. Nothing in life. You have ups and downs. So people are getting spooked and dumping. They're exacerbating the situation. Just like people going out and hoarding stuff. They create their own shortages by hoarding. This is the exact opposite. They create their own downturn by freaking out, spazzing out, and selling everything. Here's another video with a young man's opinion about Trump's plan.
Whatever you think of Trump, his economic plan makes complete sense. The US has 36 trillion in debt. In 2025, they will spend 6 trillion, but will only collect 4 trillion in revenue. So they need to borrow 2 trillion, and this will increase their debt to 38 trillion. Trump's economic plan is based on 3 levers. Number 1, cut expenses by 1 trillion, which is Doge, Elon Musk, He's targeting waste and fraud, like social security payments for people who are 150 years old. That is just fraud. 2, increasing revenue by 1 to 2 trillion through, number 1, tariffs. They will increase tariffs from 50 billion to 500 billion target. People will say, but other countries will retaliate. They will not be able to do it. The US is the biggest customer on earth. They consume 20 trillion every year. They are the biggest importer. They import 3 trillion every year. Plus, the current tariffs is actually not fair. Why should US cars entering Europe faces 10% tariffs, while the European cars entering the US just pay 2.5%? It's not fair. And because of the tariff changes, it now makes economic sense to build factories and businesses inside the US again. That means more jobs, means tax-paying businesses, and more foreign investment coming in. He will also increase revenue by deregulation. He will remove unnecessary regulations and rules, making it easier to do business, so business can grow faster, generate more tax revenues. He also make this gold card, which is offering lifetime US residency for 5 million. I think at least 1 or 2 million individuals globally can afford it. So if just 10% of them, if just 100,000 people buy this card, that's 1 trillion in incremental revenue. The third lever is he will reduce taxes. If he successfully cut 1 trillion in waste and expenses and add 1 to 2 trillion in revenue, the US will have a surplus. They will have more money than they want. So he will cut taxes. For individuals, anyone gaining more than 150K, he will make them pay 0 taxes. And on corporate taxes, he will go down from the current 21% to 15%, compared to the European average of 22%. France average is 25, I think, and Germany is 30. So at 15% corporate tax, the US will become one of the most business attractive countries on earth. Bottom line, this is exactly how government should be run, efficiently. Because when you eliminate waste, the money can actually go where it is actually needed, to the elderly, to the sick, to people who cannot work. And that is the real purpose of government, to protect the weak. Very few countries have the political will to do it. It takes leaders with backbone, charisma, and clarity of vision. Do you have leaders in your country pushing for real reform, or are they talking about non-relevant side topics? And let me know if you think Trump's plan is bad. Let me know why, because I...
Yeah, it's common sense. Common sense. And that's one of the reasons why I play that video at the beginning where Trump says, many of you people want to kill me in these countries. You guys want to end my life because you know what I'm going to do. And look how many countries, I guess you all have heard about North Vietnam, Cambodia. They want to take their tariffs to 0. But, you know, at some point, we have to have some tariff. We have to charge something. Because I've used the term our sandbox in the past. Our market is valuable. People have disposable income even after everything we've been through. Who wants to go to try to sell stuff in Mongolia or Cameroon where everybody's broke? I had my comments taken down on a Wall Street Journal video today where I said they were talking about China. China, the 34% tariff, Trump really screwed up. We don't sell a lot to China because people get paid in bowls of rice. Okay? They don't have the disposable income we have. Who cares if they put tariffs on our stuff? The only ones who can buy American cars, American clothing, American jewelry, whatever, are the elitists in the Communist Party for the most part. Or their very close associates, mostly criminal associates. So who cares if they charge more? We don't sell a lot to China. China wants to dump in on us. Some guy puts in there, this is a ignorant statement. The average income of a Chinese person is $14,000 per year and growing. They are blah, blah, blah. And my response back was, listen, Einstein, Those people are on social credits. That's not money, okay? That's where if you misbehave, they take your money. That's in the cities, and the rest of the country is bicycles and bare feet and bowls of rice, okay? They don't have a wealthy economy. They are a third world nation. So I don't care if they charge 34% on imports. And they took my comments down. So, yeah, censorship is alive and well. But anyway, I heard, let me see if this is, I picked this, Diamond Silk put up something about it. People are starting to expose people, right? Remember Elon Musk said we have to find out about how people got unusually wealthy or wealthy in unusual ways. Here you got Rick Grinnell, and he was talking about Congress people, talking about senators and Congress people. Rick Grinnell takes the gloves off, exposes billionaire Democrat representative. Quote, upset she's losing some of her inheritance. Who's that? Sarah Jacobs, a Democrat in California. She wants to dismantle Elon's businesses. So Diamond Silk also put up something that Trump put out a cryptic message. A cryptic message about what we're going to find out about. That Americans are going to be taken aback, shocked. Let me see if I can find that. Is this it? Let's see. I don't know. People are speculating what it could be. Oh, this is about Chuck Grassley. I don't know what the story is on Chuck Grassley. I don't know. I am not going to condemn him, but he's under fire for breaking with Trump on key issues about getting congressional approval for new tariffs. We'll see if that's even constitutional, but I am not going to condemn Chuck Grassley just yet. Sometimes you got to dance with it. If you want to trip up the devil, you got to dance with him. Got to get close. I've said that before. Doug Emhoff, the former first gentleman, Kamala Harris's husband, what'd he do? His law firm bends the knee to Trump. Once again, I think this is the fourth major law firm that has entered a sweeping agreement with Donald J. Trump, President Donald Trump. Wilkie Farr and Gallagher, an elite law firm. They got Doug Emhoff on there, and they're agreeing to Trump's terms. And another one promised $100 million on top of the one I already talked about. That said that they were going to give $100 million in pro bono work. Let me see what I can pull up here. Let's see. Well, people are speculating that what Trump said, people are going to be very shocked about what they discovered with Doge. What Doge discovered. Trump issues chilling statement on Doge's latest, quote, horrible discovery. You will find out very soon. And people are saying it's about the 1.3 million people that voted. I heard them say a lot more than 1.3 million. I think it's going to be worse than that. Is it going to be who the person was that Elon Musk was saying got the 400,000 Social Security numbers illegally? He said the way he talked about it, it was a person. Is that going to be a big shock? Horrible discovery? President Donald Trump threw cold water on the notion that Elon Musk will be leaving the federal government sooner than expected. We knew that, but they kept reporting it, saying that the U.S. Department of Government Efficiency has made a horrible discovery. What will we find out very soon? You all have any ideas? Hi, Cola, how are you doing? What that horrible discovery may be? Clandestine put this up. This is a Washington Post article. This was printed in the Washington Post, April 4th. Inside President Trump's whirlwind decision to blow up global trade. He's not blowing up global trade. He wants our money back. Ultimately, Trump resolved to follow his own instincts and was surrounded by senior officials who enabled him. Quote, he's at the peak of just not giving a F anymore, said a White House official with knowledge of Trump's thinking. Quote, bad news stories, doesn't give a F. He's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to do what he promised to do on the campaign trail. Well, that's rather blunt words. Coarse words to be putting in the Washington Post. You know, there's something interesting that happened. And I want to ask your all's opinion on it. Trump fired some senior people in the is this it? One of the things. Trump to fire several national security officials for being unloyal, AP says. President Donald Trump has dismissed several National Security Council officials following recommendations from far-right activist Laura Loomer. I think they made that up. Who questioned their loyalty to Make America Great agenda. This move raises concerns about the influence of extremist figures on national security decisions. I had another article that didn't mention Laura Loomer. I think this is a troublemaking site. But I think it might have something to do with either the attempt to stir up trouble over Signal, but I think more importantly, it's people giving this judge inside scoop, or they think they're giving inside scoop, about when the planes took off, when this judge ordered them to be turned around. I think, or maybe a combination of both, the Signal situation and Judge Bozoberg asking who knew what, who knew when, and all this stuff. And I think Trump found out who was talking out of school and got rid of him. I think it's 6 of them altogether, at least 3. Hi, Hawks, how you doing? Another bogus scandal blows up on Trump, hating Democrats. Biden's DNI regularly used Signal, and Biden administration authorized Signal for government communications. So I think we've always been in Signal, been able to decode it. Trump said a long time ago we caught them all. But now they want to make it a black mark on the Trump administration. Well, then they can't really complain when it turns out that is a compromised app, when they find out that it is compromised by Space Force, probably. Here's Trump going to bed. Trump excitedly wakes up and checks under his pillow to see if the tariff fairy has left new manufacturing jobs. Well, the jobs report is, I think they were expecting 140,000 new jobs, and the report turned out that there was 200 and some plus, 220,000 jobs. Let's see. I think this video here is about auto manufacturing. And then I think I got something on the jobs. This is GM. I talked about Ford yesterday. Ford is giving discounts, bringing in more manufacturing, and lowering their prices of their vehicles, stimulating sales. And now here's GM getting in the game.
We were waiting to confirm this directly with General Motors, and now we have. And you tell me if this is already a sign that things are happening in President Trump's favor. A General Motors spokesperson is now confirming there was a webcast to employees a short time ago. GM will be making operational adjustments at its Fort Wayne assembly, including hiring temporary employees to support current manufacturing and business needs. We continuously update and revise production schedules as part of our standard process of evaluating and aligning to manage vehicle inventory. This after initially Reuters was reporting on that webcast that they're going to be adding overtime hours for their employees, and they're going to be bringing some of that. They're going to be increasing the production of their light duty trucks at that American facility.
Oh yeah, they're all going to follow the leader. They're all going to be trying to capitalize on this. I believe this is the discussion. It's just a quick discussion about the surprising job numbers. They're going to be proven to be ignorant and liar. The CNN and all these very quickly, I believe.
Look for silver linings. One thing that I think is very positive about this report is that we're seeing job growth in actually the private payroll sector, not in government jobs. Remember, in the Biden administration, job growth was in government jobs. We were shifting away from private sector payrolls to government payrolls, which is all on the taxpayer dime. And so I am very excited to see the shift back to private payrolls.
Yeah, they were talking about the unemployment went to 4.2%. Well, I guess it did go up a little bit when you fired 500,000 do-nothings. They're not getting paychecks anymore for doing nothing. So now I guess they're going to get unemployment and do nothing until their unemployment runs out. But hopefully, with the manufacturing return, they'll get out of their house, move their arms and legs, break a little bit of a sweat, and have plenty of jobs to go after. But like he was saying, the way they did government growth, jobs growth under the Biden administration was they just hired hundreds of thousands of government employees. Oh, look how many jobs we created. Now Trump's got to turn around and just window dressing. Are you all up for a few laughs? This was funny. I don't think all of them are, that funny. I thought this was a little special funny, making fun of the Democrats, how self-serving they are. It plays for a little while. I'll interrupt it to give my reaction and stuff. So anyway, enjoy this Gutfeld clip.
So Trump proclaimed April 2nd Liberation Day when global tariffs went into effect, which makes me wonder, has our country and its taxpayers gotten ripped off for more than 50 years?
Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen.
Trump calls them reciprocal tariffs. But, Mr. President, what does that mean?
Reciprocal. That means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple. Can't get any simpler than that. Again, reciprocal. Back and forth. Back and forth.
Back and forth. Back and forth. Kind of like how you return a beached whale to the ocean. Oh. And what about that old-fashioned term, groceries?
An old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it on the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it.
Yeah, it's a bag with different things in it. That's how they describe Joy Behar's CAT scan. Oh. But look, Trump knows what he's doing because he runs successful businesses before, unlike the current Dems who want to tell you how to run your life but show no evidence of how well they've run theirs. Have any of them ever accomplished anything before politics? No, it's degree, law school activist ran over a teenager drunk. It's the Democrat career path. The power comes first, then the money. That's how you get a first lady who insists you call her doctor. But her one patient's been on life support for a decade. Yeah. Remember our last president who spent his entire professional life in government? He doesn't.
So this is going to be part of the culture. These kind of what late night should have been focusing on, but they were pretending didn't exist. Every time a Republican president did something a little off or something they could make fun of, they just never stopped making fun of it. Biden, you didn't hear any of these jokes. But I tell you one thing about this reciprocal business I want to point out. Trump is doing kind reciprocal. Okay, a lot of these countries were only charging half, even if it's 35%, because the other countries are at 70. That's not purely reciprocal. It's kind reciprocal. But anyway, at least we're getting this part of the word out.
President before that was a community organizer, what normal people call unemployable. Yet now he's got homes in D.C., Hawaii, Martha's Vineyard, with a basketball court for Barack and a weight room for Michelle. Go back further. What did Bill Clinton actually do before government? You know, besides a few dozen hookers and countless lines of coke. Chuck Schumer, the only thing Chuck did besides government is create new ways to kill Batman. Bernie Sanders, the guy lived in a commune before being booted for hoarding soup. There's Cory Booker, whose greatest achievement is going a day straight without peeing. Well, at least he did something straight. What? I don't get it. AOC tended bar before politics, where the most popular order was turn up the TV and stop talking. Before becoming Cardi B with a head injury, Jasmine Crockett was an ambulance chaser. She was an ambulance chaser doing pro bono work for BLM, and trust me, BLM overpaid. Now look at the Trump machine, filled with people who did great things first, then public service. Our current prez built half the Manhattan skyline, and without those buildings, where could the left protest? Then we got the world's richest guy, who also rescues astronauts and helped the paralyzed walk, and other stuff that I do on the weekends. He's even tackling the decline in the world's population, one hot chick at a time. Pete Hegseth, career military, multiple deployments, Fox and Friends host, which some say is worse than two tours in Iraq. There's Howard Lutnick, Scott Bessent, Vivek. They were all about accomplishments first and service later. See, successful people realize that life is a ladder with 2 steps. Level 1, you figure out your life first. Level 2, then you help others. The Dems reverse that. Level 1, solve the world's problems from a position of inexperience. Level 2, get rich off your phony status. Meaning their first level of sacrifice is really just self-serving. You can exploit being a community organizer, but not developing real estate. It's why this idiot became mayor of LA, but not this guy. Under Bass, LA burned to the ground, and since then has issued only 4 permits to rebuild homes. Meanwhile, Rick Caruso, a real estate tycoon, has already launched a new group aimed at expediting the city's rebuild. You can't get a better contrast. It's like a swimsuit contest between Rosie O'Donnell, and a chick. This is why you have to fix your world before you fix the outside world. It's no surprise that leftist activists have awful personal lives. They perform globally, but ignore locally. Oh, let's clean the planet, everyone. I'll shower next week. It would be funny if we weren't at their mercy. The more they try to fix the world, the worse our world gets. That's their only path to equality, making everybody as miserable as they are.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, everything he said, it's funny, but it's true. Community organizer. People that accomplished nothing, never held a job, running our lives. And then, here's one. What did this person ever do besides please some Marxist professor at some Ivy League college to get a judgeship? Obama judge. A lot of these ones that are putting through these ridiculous restraining orders and nuisance filings are very recently appointed. You had people on the federal bench that have been around for years and years and years. Excellent track record. Very few times being overturned by appellate courts. They don't get promoted as quickly as these things here. Obama judge orders Trump administration to return alleged MS-13 gang members to the U.S. after he was deported to El Salvador's notorious CCOT prison. People are saying, oh, they did a terrible thing. He wasn't really a gang member. You know, I meant to say this when Caroline Leavitt was talking about this particular case. If he had MS-13 tattoos, he's MS-13. Because let me tell you something. If you're not with the gang, and you do put tattoos on your body claiming that you are, and they find out about it, they don't play, okay? They'll peel you like an orange to get that tattoo off you if you do not qualify to have it. Anybody who's dealt with these criminal organizations and gangs know that. You never wear their colors or their tats or anything if you're not a bona fide member. Okay? So anyway, what's the deal? Here we are again. Now, I know they're getting desperate. Here is a flashback scene to, remember when they were running around chasing senators in the corridor, the basement corridors, restricted asset access? They have to be, these people have to be the guests of somebody in the Capitol. But all they're doing is trying to get, like this is, they're trying to corner Josh Hawley and get him, get a soundbite off of Josh Hawley, but he throws it right back in their face. But yeah, this is, they're trying to go back to their old tactics when they were trying to tear down Kavanaugh. That shows you the desperation levels.
Israel should go to your people. Aren't you America first?
The China lover. Oh, you're China first.
Are you America first?
You're China first.
Why are you sending
and
billions
you are the one
of
who
the
is
taxpayers' dollars
condemning
to
the Uyghurs to blood and death as you take their money.
Are you America
their
first?
money supports
Are
your
you America
organization.
First?
Your
I
money
think this guy
supports.
is
Listen,
Israel first.
I please you will
Not
post
America
this.
first.
I hope you'll post this.
He deflects.
You
what he
are
just voted
a Chinese
for
agent.
was
You have the blood of
35,000.
Uyghurs on your hands.
You're a baby killer.
And oh no, you're a baby killer.
You're a
the
baby
Uyghur
killer.
babies, their blood is
How
on your
many
hands.
bombs did you
the
just
blood
vote
of the
to?
Chinese is
You
on
just
your
voted to
hands.
send
And of course of the Jews is on your hands.
2,000-pound bombs.
Who are you? You're just a Jew hater, right? You're a long for the ride.
You're a Christian
Zionist, no.
Yeah.
Don't accuse me of things. You're a Jew hater. You would destroy the nation of Israel.
Sir, you're a public official.
And you are
You're a public official.
Which means what? I can't see truth of power.
No, it means that you have
It means
way
that
more
you
political
love China, that you are taking their money, and that you are rabidly
taking our money
anti-Israel.
and sending it to a
You
foreign
are
government
absolutely
for
morally
free.
despicable.
taking
And I look
money
forward
to
to one day
Israel. You are
the
not
moral
America
comeuppance that you will deserve. You are morally
I'm a healthcare
abysmal.
worker. I save lives.
You are appalling. Your
I'm a
your
healthcare
hatred for the
worker.
Jews.
I
Who
save
cares?
lives.
And that you don't
You
save
kill-
lives.
yeah, you kill
are
them.
killing Jews and loving it. And loving it. You're despicable.
You are a war criminal, baby killer.
Who's letting these people? Who's letting these people in these restricted areas to harass senators? She's a healthcare worker. Man, I wouldn't let her near me if she knew I was MAGA. Well, you know, it's hard to say what these people would do. It's hard to say what they do. Here's a meme for you to put up on Meta right here. How to prevent the next pandemic. Got his, there's his prison number. Upside down 999, right? And one thing, this came out, this one I'm going to put on the screen, came out yesterday, and nobody's talking about it. It should be big news. Should be big news. But nobody's talking about it. Just in, oil prices plunge to the lowest level since 2021. Wall Street Journal. What's this doing? Well, it's going to make everything a lot cheaper. It's going to bring prices down, going to bring transportation costs of getting goods to market down. That's going to lower prices. All the good stuff we know about. But it's also a card Trump is going to play against Putin, because elevated oil prices financed the operation in Ukraine. Putin wouldn't be able to do it without elevated prices because he elevated his prices. So now he's going to have to compete and lower his money. He's going to have a big loss in revenue. So that's going to put some heat on Putin to come to the table for a ceasefire. I believe, let me see, the news services over in the East said that Trump was going to meet with, let's see, here it is. Politico claims that the next telephone conversation between Russian and U.S. Presidents Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump could take place before or after the upcoming weekend. So I don't believe it's happened yet, so it might happen during the weekend. There are expectations that another phone call between Trump and Putin will take place. We already read that. The publication said in a statement, citing sources in Europe. Well, I don't know if we should believe that or not. But here's Trump on Air Force One talking about he believes Putin and Zelensky are close to a deal. You have the engine noise in the background, but you'll be able to hear him. And he keeps repeating his same points. At least we'll get people to stop dying over there, young men to stop dying.
Europe has not been successful in dealing with President Putin, but I think I will be successful.
Sir, have you talked to Zelensky recently?
Not too long ago, yeah.
How did that go?
Good. I think he's ready to make a deal.
No progress, though, other than that?
I think a lot of progress. No, he's ready to make a deal, and I think that President Putin is ready to make a deal, and you'll stop the killing of thousands of young people a week.
Did Kirill Dmitriev say that to your his counterparts in the U.S.?
Who?
Kirill Dmitriev, the Russian negotiator that's in Washington right now?
I don't talk about specific people. I just will tell you that there's a lot of good conversation going on about Ukraine, Russia.
Well, the chess pieces are being moved in place with the prices of oil going down. And Trump is going to be meeting with the Saudi prince soon. You know, that's another factor if they increase their production and drive oil down even farther. That's going to put heat on Russia, and, you know, Iran is going to be in a bind also. They get a lot of money off of their oil. Speaking of which, here's a little blast from the past. Donald Trump never gotten over the fact that Obama was able to send $1.7 billion in cash to Iran, and nobody in Congress, the FBI, or Justice called for an investigation. Just a little reminder. And Dan Bongino, speaking of the FBI and Justice Department and all that stuff, he put out a couple of things. One where he said, just because you can't see things happening doesn't mean they aren't happening. Right? And then he put out a much longer statement. Let's see if I can find it. No, this is something else. He put out a much longer mission statement, if you will. And Clandestine commented on the statements that Bongino and Kash Patel are putting out. I understand that many are jaded, have given up hope, believe there will never be any accountability, don't trust anyone, etc. But if you had to trust somebody, it's these guys. And they are telling us they're getting the job done behind closed doors. So I want to see if I can find that statement from Bongino. I may not have uploaded it. Where he pretty much gives a rundown of the things they're working on, but he doesn't mention anything outside of what we would call, he focuses mostly on immigration. Here's one statement from him here. Just because you don't immediately see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. And Kash Patel has put out similar statements. Let me see what this one is. Oh, this is Citizen Free Press. You know what? I commented on this. This was a young woman who took a knee. Female fencer takes a knee to protest against her biologically male opponent during a fencing match. The opponent, Redmond Sullivan, switched from the men's fencing team to the women's fencing team at Wagner College last year. Sullivan shockingly started dominating the female competition after the switch was made. During the Connecticut division, Junior Olympics qualifiers last year, for example, Sullivan competed with the female athletes and won. The video reportedly took place over the weekend. Sullivan's female opponent was expelled from the USA fencing event at the University of Maryland over the weekend, reports Icons. So that's a little picture, but she did take a knee. She didn't want to go through it. She didn't want to deal with it. And they expelled her from the fencing team. Can you say lawsuit? There'll be a lawsuit over that. Speaking of lawsuits, guess who is going through depositions right now with somebody I mentioned earlier? Guess who is going through a lawsuit right now? A star, a comedian who we all know. I'll show you who it is. Laura Loomer. For immediate release, Trump and Loomer hater Bill Maher to be deposed today. Leftist political pundit has already lost motion to dismiss in defamation case. Bill Maher is looking at, I don't know how much money, but we know defamations can end up in the millions. Here's the letter that Clayman Law Group wrote. Leftist political pundit already lost motion to dismiss. They have in this, their mayor refused to apologize and declined to put Miss Loomer on his show to mitigate the severe damage he has caused her. Mayor was sued in Mrs. Loomer's backyard, Ocala, Florida. Leftist mayor falsely published widely on his HBO show, Real Time, that Miss Loomer has effed President Trump, implying that Trump committed adultery against First Lady Melania Trump with Miss Loomer. Mayor then, through his counsel, Kate Bolger, Trump-hating law firm Davis White Tremaine Tremaine LLP threatened Ms. Loomer before the lawsuit was filed, moved to dismiss, and has since lost their efforts to dismiss the case. Mayor's deposition is proceeding, and it will be recorded on video today at noon. Is that why he went to that dinner with Trump? He might have to sell that list of insults that Trump signed for him. All right, let's see. It says down here, it is worth noting that Kate Bolger and Davis Wright Tremaine were also the legal counsel who represented ABC News host George Stephanopoulos and ABC in the defamation suit brought against them, and then settled for $15 million on the eve of Stephanopoulos and ABC having been ordered by a Miami court, to be deposed. Larry Klayman, who filed the suit, had this to say prior to the deposition. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. Have you all heard anybody talk about this? I didn't even know it was happening. Bill Maher, a rabid Trump and Loomer hater, cannot fool the American people with his staged meeting at the White House. He has not changed his leftist leopard spots. It was even attacking President Trump on his show last week, proving that his stunt was nothing but that, a political stunt. Mayor will be held to account, and Ms. Loomer is confident in the end justice will prevail, with Mayor and HBO having to pay dearly, in, quote, real time for the severe damage Mayor has done to my client. So I don't even know how much she's suing for. But it ain't going to be peanuts. Have you all heard this lawsuit? I haven't. I haven't heard anybody, nobody's mentioning it in the chats. They've heard of it either. So, yeah, it's out of the blue. Now, what's this? Is this going to be part of the cryptic message of, the things that are going to shock us or whatever? New, Ed Martin expands probe into Biden U.S. Attorney Matthew Graves' unlawful use of 1512C-2 obstruction charge to lock up J6ers. Remember, the appellate courts ruled that they had misused that statute or what have you to improperly charge and jail people that were at J6. Did they find something related to communications about that? Putting 1,500 people in jail that didn't belong in jail? Or is it going to be about this? DOJ executive Antonio Gracias reveals 1.3 million illegals are accessing Medicaid. Thousands are voting. Is that what's going to horrify us? I don't think so. I think it's something even bigger than that. Not to say that this isn't big news, that we're getting robbed blind. Oh, let me add another one to judicial victories right here. U.S. Justice Department will allow actor Mel Gibson to own guns again, despite his 2011 conviction on domestic violence charge. Mel Gibson's right to own guns restored by Department of Justice. I mean, people, I understand how that police want to be careful and judges want to be careful when it comes to domestic violence. But you know, a lot of times it's just a guy with his old lady or a woman with her old man doing some stupid slapping around and then they're kissy facing. And how many cops have I had tell me they'll show up and the couple will be wanting to rip each other's hair out of their head. And after the cop gets there, they're both treating the cop like crap. And they're both against the cop. So, you know, it's tough. Domestic violence stuff. What gets labeled as domestic violence now? You watch these old movies, Doris Day slapping Cary Grant, or James Cagney pushing a grapefruit in somebody's face. Now it's that's a felony or whatever. But, you know, I won't say, because things get worse than that, we know. You can't be too careful. But you can't take away somebody's right to defend themselves for the rest of their life over what may turn out to be something de minimis. De minimis. Here is something to support what I've been saying about people who have law degrees that publicly denigrate our Constitution and our system of government and claim they're an attorney, that they've taken an oath to uphold our laws and all this stuff. People that behave this way should not be permitted to hold positions of public trust or be able to walk around and say that they are a practicing attorney.
South Africa got over apartheid. Did they just go back to their Afrikaner racist constitution and be like, oh, we just need a couple of amendments. We just need a couple of changes here to make it work? No, they threw the whole thing out and started again, this time asking everybody. Wow. This time having a completely new delegation of all of the people of South Africa, not just the white folks, but not no white folks. And they came up with a new constitution. It's one of the reasons why the South African constitution is generally thought of as one of the best constitutions in the world. And ours continues to be a piece of crap.
So what laws would you kick out immediately? What laws are you saying it needs to get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, so the first one I have in my book is that I want to eliminate every single voter registration law. All of them.
Eliminate every voter registration law after he says our Constitution needs to be thrown out. How can you take an oath and then talk like that? It shouldn't be permitted. He's called an activist. Hi, Bruce. How you doing? Nice to see you. I made a comment on this video too. I didn't watch but a couple of seconds of it. Where do we go from here? And I put in the comment bar, it's Bernie Sanders. I put China and then goodbye with a waving hand. That's where you can go from here, Bernie. China, where you belong. You and that character I just played with the big mouth. All right, let's see. I'm just looking at the chats. Had a long work day. I know the feeling. Hi, Andrew. How you doing? All right. Okay, I just seen what was going on in the chats. Here's a good one. Everybody keeps talking about how you voted for cheaper eggs, gas, etc., etc. Ma'am, sir, I solely voted for the liberal tiers. I'll pay $10 an egg to keep watching DJT take a blowtorch to this whole diseased temple of thieves, traitors, pedos, and burn it to the ground. And pee on the ashes. Yeah, I agree. I don't mind. You remember Bill Clinton saying, I'd pay $5 more for a pizza when they wanted to raise the minimum wage to $15. Now, Trump's doing tariffs where it's not going to cost our businesses double the money to hire a moron. And they complain about the prices. Oh, but they pay more for a pizza. I doubt that very seriously. Here we go. Here's another one to put on your meta page. Watching leftists use gasoline to burn electric vehicles. So anyway, let's see. I have some videos from last week, but let's see. I'm getting up to an hour and 3/4, going over my hour and a half limit. So I have a video of that Mr. T put out. Here's another one you can put on Meta too. Genius Trump tricks Democrats into hating taxes. Here's that young girl taking the knee and then got expelled. Adam Francisco, what are your thoughts about the female fencer who took a knee to surrender to her biological male opponent? I don't think he knows that she got expelled. And I can't wait for that lawsuit. I want to find out how much Laura Loomer is suing Bill Maher for. And remember, Laura Loomer flew on Air Force One with Mr. T. That symbolism would be their downfall and that they would collapse under the weight of their own illegality. Remember that, folks? I remember it. I know you do too. So, yeah, Bill Maher got a lot of money. How long are you going to hang on to it? I never heard that story even getting talked about. But anyway, folks, I want to thank Miss Mendersu, Cosette, and Gary for coming by, buy me a coffee. And everybody that helped out earlier in the week, William, Hilarious, Pappy, Wayne, and Todd. Thank you so much. I have a link in the description for Buy Me a Coffee if you want to help support the channel. And once again, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. Enjoy this video by Mr. T. And I should be going live maybe Sunday, but if not, definitely Monday. And if something big happens, I might go live in the middle of the day tomorrow. You never know. So subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I go live. You all have a great night. This is Mountain Man. Enjoy the video. Over and out.
This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, American history. It's our Declaration of Economic Independence. My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day, April 2nd, 2025, will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. American steel workers, auto workers, farmers, and skilled craftsmen watched in anguish as foreign leaders have stolen our jobs, foreign cheaters have ransacked our factories, and foreign scavengers have torn apart our once beautiful American dream. Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. We are finally putting America first. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. We will supercharge our domestic industrial base. We will pry open foreign markets and break down foreign trade barriers. More production at home will mean stronger competition at lower prices. From this day on, we're not going to let anyone tell us that American workers and families cannot have the future that they deserve. We're going to produce the cars and ships, chips, airplanes, minerals, and medicines that we need right here in America. We're going to build our future with American hands, with American heart. This will be indeed the golden age of America.